All right, so Bikini Bottom Genetics. This is the first kind of instructional video to help you guys out. There's going to be a few of these, okay? Get your name on it. That way, make sure you can get credit for what you do, okay? So, all right, so number one. For each genotype below, indicate whether it is heterozygous or homozygous. Now, there's a few vocab words in here. First off, genotype. Remember genotype? Genetic. Genotype is the letters, okay? It's the capital T, lowercase t, big D, little f, and so on and so on. Okay? Heterozygous, that means different. Homozygous means the same. So this should be pretty easy. Simply think, are the letters the same or are the letters different? Real easy. Okay? So first one, capital T, are they the same or are they different? Capital, they're the same. So write H-O. And if you want to think about this in a hilarious way, we're trying to determine whether these are he's or are they hoes. Yeah, I might be in trouble for that one. All right, next one. Capital B, lowercase b. Is that homozygous the same or is that heterozygous different? Capital lowercase, obviously it's different. So that would be H-E. Next one, capital, that's the same. H-O. Okay, all you got to do, keep on going. And I'm not going to do all this for you. Okay, next part says which of the genotypes in number one would be considered purebred. Purebred and homozygous are the same. It doesn't matter if they're capital or if they're lowercase. They're still homozygous, therefore they are purebred. So these guys are all the homozygous ones. Now, do not write this as your answer. What you need to write down are the different letters. So for example, you would write capital T, big D, little t. Okay, you're writing down all the homozygous ones. Okay, make sure to write down all of them. So if those guys are the homozygous ones, the hybrids are the heterozygous ones. Okay, so this should be really easy. Capital B, lowercase b, capital F, lowercase f, and so on. That should be easy. Make sure you get all those written down. Okay, let's go to the next part. Okay, determine the phenotype. Now remember, genotype was the letters. Phenotype is the physical. So here we're talking yellow versus blue. So determine the phenotype or the physical for each of the genotypes, the letters, using the information provided about SpongeBob. So yellow body color is dominant to blue. So capital or homozygous dominant, or like we talked about here, purebred dominant, this would be yellow. Okay. Next one, capital lowercase. Since the capital is there, like we talked about in the lecture, the dominant is there, the dominant wins. So this would also be yellow. Now the recessive, homozygous recessive, or again, purebred recessive, this would be blue. This would be the only time blue is there. Because both are recessive, you see the recessive. Okay, pause the video, do that one. Next one, for each phenotype, now we're dealing with the physical again, give the genotypes or the letters that are possible for Patrick. So basically we're doing the stuff here, but the opposite version. Okay, so the phenotype is tall. So the genotype for tall, he could be purebred or homozygous dominant, but like law of dominance, like this, if the dominant is there, it wins. So the tall can be either homozygous dominant or heterozygous. The short, just like we did with blue up here, it has to be lowercase. Okay, pause the video, do that one. Next one, number 4. SpongeBob SquarePants recently met Sponge Susie Roundpants at a dance. SpongeBob is heterozygous, or he's different, for his square shape, but Sponge Susie is round. Create a Punnett square to show the possibilities that would result if SpongeBob and Sponge Susie had children. So, like it says in the hint, let's read question number 2. So go up here, okay? SpongeBob is heterozygous, so he is different. His genotype is different. So if you go up to number 2, SpongeBob, talking about square shape is dominant to round, SpongeBob would be the different. He would be heterozygous. So he would be capital S, lowercase s. I typically write lowercase in cursive if it's not really different. Like you see how the T's and capital T's are really different from each other? But if I just simply write S and S, sometimes I can't tell which one is dominant and which one's recessive. So that's why I make them a little different from each other. Okay, so we'll cross those out. So since SpongeBob is heterozygous or different for his square shape, but Sponge Susie is round. Now if square shape is dominant to round, she could only be this. Okay, so I'll draw the line. She's lowercase s, lowercase s. Now, when we talked about in the lecture, you got to take one parent and put them on one side. One parent, put them on top. So I'll put SpongeBob over here. So he's got capital S, lowercase s. Then Sponge Susie, lowercase s, lowercase s. Now we got to fill this Punnett square in. Don't skip ahead to this. I see that a lot. Don't skip ahead to this part. That's going to be hard if you don't know this, because you need to use the Punnett square to answer this to give you evidence. Okay? Just like in codon tables. Capital comes over, lowercase comes down. Capital comes over, lowercase comes down, lowercase over, lowercase down, lowercase over, lowercase down. All right, so now it says part A, B, and C. List the possible genotypes. So genotypes are genetic. Okay, so the genetics are the letters. So we have capital S, lowercase s. We also have capital S, or excuse me, lowercase s, lowercase s. So we got homozygous recessive. Okay, we do not have homozygous dominant inside the Punnett square. So don't write it here, because this is the possible genotypes for their kids. Their kids are only right here. Okay, next, phenotype physical, the PH. Okay, so capital S, lowercase s. We go back up to read question number 2. Capital lowercase, right here. This would be square. So you'd write square. Okay, we dealt with those two. Now lowercase s, go back up to question number 2. Right there. This is just like Sponge Susie. They'd be round. Okay. Now B and C. Okay, these are the chances of a child with square shape. Okay, with square, it's going to be 1, 2 out of 4. Now this is always going to be out of 4 because there's 4 boxes. Okay, don't put like 2 out of 2. That's a mistake I see a lot because they're thinking there's 2 of them and there's 2 over here. No, it's 2 out of a total of 4. Okay, now 2 out of 4 is 50%. Okay, now C, what are the chances of a child with round shape? That guy's round and that guy's round. So again, 2 of them out of the total of 4 are round, which would be 50%. Okay, you should be able to do the rest of this the same way we were doing the other stuff. Okay, make sure, like it says right here, read question 3. So go back up to this part. Walk yourself through it. If you need to have some extra assistance or extra help, just rewind this video and watch it again.